Hi, I'm Michael Kourosh. I live in Santa Barbara, California, one of the most beautiful places on earth. My design center is where people come to reimagine their homes and spaces. I work with the best designers, clients with broad tastes, and experts who navigate the fascinating world of design. I'm always excited to learn something new, and I never say no to a challenge. This is Design Santa Barbara. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I'm Michael Kourosh, and today we are starting in Santa Barbara Design Center, but about to head down to Santa Barbara Harbor for a special treat. Today we are going to have a private tour of the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum from the Executive Director, Greg Gorga. Please join us. Greg, thank you so much for having us in the Maritime Museum. It's a beautiful place and unique to Santa Barbara. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of it?
Sure. So the Maritime Museum is inside the old waterfront building. This was a WPA Works project, and as it was going up, World War II broke out. So the city sold it to the Navy for $1. It was a Navy Reserve building training center during World War II, Navy Reserve building into the 1990s when the city bought it back from the Navy for $2.4 million.
What happened to the dollar?
I always say you want to have the Navy negotiators and not the city negotiators. And then the city had to put $2 million in ADA upgrades into it. And then we were able to open our doors in July of 2000. So we're fairly new and have been adding to the museum ever since.
All right, so we are here with this beautiful specimen, and you were going to tell us some history about it.
Sure, this is our gym suit, and this was used to work on the oil platforms built in the 1970s by a local company. Oceaneering started here in Santa Barbara, now in Houston. It weighs 800 pounds out of the water, can go down 2,000 feet.
2,000 feet?
Yes, pretty deep.
Oh my God.
And you might recognize it because the same model, not the exact one, but the same model was used in the James Bond film For Your Eyes Only. If you remember that film, the bad guy gets in it, goes after Bond and the girl, and Bond out of nowhere grabs this bomb and blows the bad guy up. And that's because Oceaneering wanted to sell these suits, and so the deal they made with the movie studio was you could kill the bad guy in it, but it could not be an equipment malfunction.
That's amazing. That's a wonderful history. And 2,000 feet, that's quite a feast back then.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's even today.
Even today, it's pretty far down there.
Wonderful.
But you know, Santa Barbara is seen worldwide as the birthplace of deep water commercial diving, and it goes back to our abalone business. We were providing 2/3 of the world's abalone in the 1950s, and then when the oil companies came here, they needed divers to go down deeper and stay down longer to install all the oil platforms that are out in our channel. And so a lot of the world's best divers were right here in Santa Barbara, abalone diving, a lot of them ex-Navy divers, and they quickly transitioned into oil diving.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's beautiful history.
Would you like to see the rest of the museum?
I would love to see it.
Why don't we go through?
So now we are inside the museum, and this is a fantastic object. What is it? Can you tell us about the history and what it is?
Sure. So I think this is the most important maritime artifact on the Santa Barbara Channel. This is called a first order Fresnel Lighthouse lens. It was at Point Conception Lighthouse, considered the most dangerous waters on the West Coast, considered the Cape Horn or the graveyard of the Pacific. In fact, when it was the lighthouse was being installed there in 1854 through 1856, the Yankee Blade actually sank right off the coast there. This lens was built in Paris, France. It is revolutionary design. It was designed in the 1820s, but actually built in 1854. And this was 5 times stronger than anything they had before, these Fresnel lenses. So it was really a revolutionary design that we are actually using still that technology today. Your eyeglasses use it, your car brake lights, headlights use it, stage lighting is still called Fresnel lighting, and in fact Solar Energy is using it a lot, and even the B-2 bomber and the Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier utilize this technology. So this lens was first lit out at Point Conception on February 1st, 1856. It has 624 pieces of glass, 16 bullseyes, which are those big round pieces, and it would send a beam of light out 24 miles out to sea.
24 miles you could see this light.
Absolutely. And it was up on a higher bluff than it is today. The lighthouse started falling apart on the upper bluff, and then they moved it to a lower bluff to get underneath the fog zone in 1880. So they rebuilt the lighthouse, but the lens itself is still from 1854. And it worked like a grandfather's clock. So there's a weight upstairs that would have been attached to the clockworks down there, and every 4 hours you'd wind that up. And as the weight falls, it would turn the lens like this. And I'll show you how it
still
turns.
moves.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. And so as a sailor, it's great to see a lighthouse, right? But you really want to know exactly which lighthouse you're looking at. So every lighthouse has a different signature or characteristic. So this would make one full rotation every 8 minutes, 16 bullseyes, which means that beam of light would come across your bow every 30 seconds. And you would look at a chart after you time that, and it would say Point Conception, 2-second flash, 30-second interval. And that's how you know you're looking at the Point Conception lighthouse, not Point Arguello, not Anacapa Island.
Fascinating, absolutely interesting. I have never seen anything like it. And the glasses out there, they're just like pieces of art. And it was quite easy, you turn it.
Yeah.
That must be like incredibly engineered.
No, I'm just very strong.
Oh yeah, that undoubtedly. But
Well, no, the engineering is amazing, and the French were very proud of these, obviously. They had lighthouses, you were always within sight of a lighthouse along the French coastline. The United States were very late adapters to this technology because they're expensive. We used to have argan lamps, which was just a simple light and a reflection, but they burn a lot less oil. So in the long run, these were much, much cheaper, and you're right, they're a thing of beauty.
it's amazing looking. I had never seen that one close up, and it's just beautiful.
And it's in very good condition because Point Conception was surrounded by 20,000 acres, 25,000 acres of private ranch land. Now that property is owned by the Nature Conservancy. It's the Jack and Laura Dangerman Preserve. But this was never open to the public, and which kept it actually in good shape. So a lot of these lenses, you're missing half the glass. There's big chips. This one has some graffiti. It has some little chips right there. But overall, the lampist that we had work on it said it was in amazing shape. And there's only 5 or 6 people allowed to touch that glass. They're called lampists. This is still owned by the Coast Guard. And so it's just considered a permanent loan to the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum.
It's a work of art. This one alone is worth the visit to Santa Barbara.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
absolutely. You don't get this close to these at too many places. And,
Yeah.
and it's nice in our museum because you could see the clockworks down here, and then you go upstairs and you get a nice eye-level view of the glass itself.
Well, thank you so very much. It's just beautiful. So where do we go from here?
Well, let's go through the rest of the museum.
Please, I follow you.
All right.
Now we are in front of these beautiful model ships, and they look unreal. They look like, you took a picture of them and just right there. Can you explain about them, how they came to be, or what are they and how this is here?
Sure. So these are 2 of the 32 Brooks models that we have in our collection. They are actually donated to us by a relative of Dwight Brooks after he had passed away, or even before we opened our doors. So this is really our first collection at the Maritime Museum, and still one of our most valuable collections. These are all working models. So Dwight Brooks would mainly build these in Minnesota. He'd start in October, build through the summer, spending 12 to 1,500 hours on each one.
Wow,
yes,
that's a lot.
absolutely. And they work, so they're either battery or diesel powered. So he actually tested this one out on a lake, the tugboat here, by tugging a 14-foot skiff with a woman and child on board. That's how strong this is.
Amazing.
And he also had a great sense of humor, so he'd also steer these over to fishermen in the lakes there, tell the fishermen they were in restricted waters, and if they didn't move, the fire hoses would actually squirt water.
And they did.
And they did, absolutely. And then he built 2 submarines. I'm told he had trouble getting those to go underwater, but he figured it out. Now, a submariner would tell you the important thing is to get it back up to the surface, but he could do that. And it was able to fire torpedoes underwater as well.
That's
And so these are amazing craftsmanship. All of them based on actual boats except for one, the Rapture, which he did as a composite of five other different ships. And he was so happy with the model, he ended up building the actual boat based on the model, and that boat is still in the water in Florida.
Probably took less time to build the boat than the model piece.
Probably did, exactly.
It's interesting. And you have that big one in the back that looks stunning, looks like a yacht. What is that?
It is a yacht. It's the Gulf Streamer. It's out of Newport Beach. And if you look at the video that Mike DeGree, one of our past board members, did for us, you'll see that inside the model, lamps turn on and off, doors open and close. Even the heads on all of his models have rolls of toilet paper. So he was ready for COVID.
Unbelievable. Wonderful.
Yeah, the craftsmanship is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We should show some of these to our viewers because they're stunning.
Yep, one of a kind.
We are outside Santa Barbara Maritime Museum, and I understand you have a boat, actual boat in the harbor.
Absolutely.
So can you explain to us what is that about?
Yeah, so we have the Ranger. It is a 1917 sport fishing boat. It's the first sport fishing yacht built on the West Coast. It was built for Jimmy Jump. He was the Commodore of the Catalina Island Tuna Club. So it actually held 26 different sport fishing records at one time, still holds 2 today. And folks like Zane Grey, John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, and Errol Flynn all fish from it. And
From this boat of yours?
Yes, absolutely.
Whoa, I want to go fishing.
And we've had Kevin Costner on board to do a little photo shoot. And we still take it out. It's usually the first boat in the Parade of Lights every year. And we take some of our special donors out for a little cruise along the coastline with it.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it. So now maybe we can go inside again and see what it's about.
Absolutely. Let's go back in.
Now we are at the Chumash exhibit in your beautiful museum. Can you explain to our viewers what is this all about?
Sure. So we like to say our maritime history goes back thousands of years with our local Chumash. And this is an example of what their tomols would look like. These are very unique. The Chumash are only one of 2 civilizations to build plank canoes. Everybody else was using dugouts. They would have built them in Carpinteria. So Carpinteria is actually named after the carpenters that built these. And they would have gone out to the islands, down from Port Hueneme to Anacapa and up and down the islands that way. So really our maritime history goes back thousands of years. I like to criticize my East Coast colleagues who brag about 600 years of maritime history back in New England, that ours is thousands of years. Yeah.
And that's the only reason, because they had oil, they could do this thing. That's what I understood.
That's right. They used pine tar and asphalt to seal those planks together. They also used it to seal their baskets together so that they could carry fresh water. So very unique culture and very popular. You know, they were all over the channel here. So they are a big civilization.
Beautiful.
And very talented. And we also do a lot of things close to the ground here for our kids in our historic path. So they can touch and feel. We're all about hands-on interaction with our education programs and our exhibits. We talk about the early days of otter pelt hunting. Of course, you know, the reason we have presidios here, and we had a presidio here in Santa Barbara, was the Spanish wanted to keep the Russians from coming down and going after otter, because otter pelts was a big industry back then. And so that's why we have 4 presidios in California. And then we talk about the early days of oil. And of course, Richard Henry Dana Jr., who visited here in Santa Barbara in the 1830s, wrote the book 2 years before the mast. And we do an education program with local 4th graders. We put them on a tall ship for the night where they live the life of an 1830 sailor.
That's wonderful. Actually, my daughter did that, and it was just, she was blown away.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Nice.
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a really great hands-on educational program, which is what we're all about here, is education, and especially getting the kids to do things, and that's how we think they learn the best.
That's wonderful. So where do we go from here?
So we're going to go next to see, I think, our 2nd floor.
Beautiful. This is a beautiful museum loaded with information about Santa Barbara's rich maritime history. I look forward to seeing what Greg has to show us on the 2nd floor. We will be right back. It's been an interesting time for all of us. It was difficult to be separated from the world, but I was incredibly lucky to be able to spend much time with my family. Being home for so long showed us just how important our living spaces are and why proper design is essential. If you are ready to redefine your living space, come in and see me. It would be my honor to help you. We are Santa Barbara Design Center at 410 Olive Street, and we are ready. How many times in the last year have you said to yourself, I really need a new sofa? Spending so much time at home lately, you deserve the most comfortable furniture. At Santa Barbara Design Center's massive showroom, we have numerous selections of sofas and sectionals that you can take home today. Or we can custom build your dream sofa. We make the most comfortable and stylish sofas and sectionals in the industry today. Just ask the top designers in Santa Barbara. They use our sofas and sectionals in their projects because they know clients are beyond satisfied with the results. For a decision as important as this, don't go online or buy from a catalog photo. Come into 410 Olive Street and let our experienced team help you find the perfect fit for your home. Trust me, you want to sit on it before you buy. Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. Today we are at Santa Barbara Maritime Museum with Executive Director Greg Gorga. Let's learn more about this fascinating museum and its exhibits. So Greg, I understand you guys have rotating exhibits in the museum, and this time you have surfboards that they're actually Santa Barbara signature.
Absolutely. So we rotate this area out every 3 to 6 months. And right now we have surfboards by Rennie Yater, the ideal, iconic Santa Barbara surfboard designer and shaper. And then they've been aged, these surfboards, by Kevin Ansell to look like they're from different older time periods. So this exhibit covers surfing history along the California coastline from 1885 to 1959. And then an artist by the name of John Comer has painted these beautiful surf scenes on them. So the surfboards actually serve as the canvas for the artwork, and they're actually foam boards. So this looks like real wooden boards from the 18 and early 1900s. They're actually foam, and that wood look is painted on.
Oh, I thought they were original actually. Interesting you say that.
They're not very heavy. The original boards would have been 60 to 100 pounds, and these are pretty light.
Beautiful.
And I would love to surf one. And the scenes are just gorgeous. So, surfing.
So realistic, you can see every little location.
Absolutely.
And you know where it is.
And a lot of surf history here in Santa Barbara, so perfect for us.
Thank you. Greg, that's another beautiful, beautiful model. What is it?
So this is the 1/4 scale model of the F1 Seaplane, built in 1918 right up Lower State Street by two brothers, Alan and Malcolm. Last name was Loughhead. They rolled that plane down State Street. There used to be a pier at the end of Karpeles Street. They did some work for Flying A movie studios, but at that time they flew the King and Queen of Belgium in that plane, and then they tried to sell it to the Navy, but the Navy wasn't buying planes right then. World War I was just ending, but they continued to build planes. They changed their name because people had trouble pronouncing their name, so you would know their company now is Lockheed Martin. Their engineer when they built this seaplane was Jack Northrop. He was a Santa Barbara High School graduate. And then this plane model was built for us by the Santa Barbara Radio Company, and this actually, we did fly it twice out at Lake Kachuma.
Oh, this one flies?
Yes, absolutely. We took the engines out to hang it here so it wouldn't fly right this second, but the propellers still turn.
Oh yeah, the viewers should come and definitely see this thing. It's beautiful, and you have a roll there that shows how it flew.
Yeah, we have video of it being flown out at Lake Kachuma and the model being put together. It took a lot of time for the radio club to put it together.
Quite interesting. I understand there is a theater out here too. Can we go check it out?
Let's go to our Monger Theater.
All right. Congratulations. This is one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever been. From outside, looks like the head of a Titanic. And when you walk in here, it feels beautiful. And I hear you have special events, you have programs that you offer, and you could tell us about it. I would appreciate it.
Sure. So we're standing in the Monger Theater, named after Charles Munger, a good friend of the Maritime Museum. We show 5 or 6 films every day in here. And then on Saturdays, we show surf films. And on Sunday, we do sustainable films about our environment. And the Monger Theater really is also a great place for presentations. We rent it out to businesses for presentations and corporate meetings. The whole museum we rent out for different events at times. And we have wonderful programs for our members, and especially what we call our Navigator Circle members, our $1,000 and above members. We do special events, we do excursions. We've gone out to where the Honda disaster was. We've taken trips out to Anacapa Island with those groups, and gone out to research vessels with ROVs and done a search of the channel with some of our donors. So, and we've gone cage diving with the great white sharks with some of our members. So we like to do special things for our members, and especially our larger donors who really help support all the education programs and exhibits that the Maritime Museum is able to do.
That's wonderful. We are fortunate to have the donors, as you say. We are fortunate to have you and the museum here.
Thank you. Thank you. Fortunate to be here.
You mentioned about the Honda Point disaster, and you said you have an exhibit out here. So I would love to see that. I'm very interested about it.
Absolutely. That is an important piece of our maritime history. Not our Navy's greatest moment, but certainly an amazing part of our history here.
Yeah, if you could show it to us, it would be great.
Absolutely. Well, follow me.
So Greg, here we are again at your museum, Maritime Museum, beautiful, and you have this display for the Honda disaster, and can explain to our viewers what happened and what did we learn from it?
Absolutely. So the Honda disaster is considered the worst naval disaster during peacetime in U.S. history. Not the largest loss of life. There were 23 sailors sadly lost their lives in this, but the most ships. So in September 8th, 1923, 14 Navy destroyers, kind of the elite of the Navy at that time, were heading from San Francisco to their home base in San Diego. They were starting to use radio navigation technology. There was a radio navigation station at Point Arguello, but they did not trust that new technology. And so instead they were really using dead reckoning, counting how many times the propeller turned and figuring out their speed and distance. And there's a lot of little factors, I call it the domino effect, that led up to this disaster. But basically what happened is at 9 o'clock at night, they haven't seen land since 11:30. They think they're in the mouth of the channel. They want to set a speed record, fastest squadron to go from San Francisco to San Diego. And so they say turn hard left at 9 p.m., thinking they're in the mouth of the channel, but really they are above Point Arguello. So we talked about the Point Conception Lighthouse earlier. There was also a lighthouse at Point Arguello about 7 miles northwest of there, and they were 3 miles away from that. Heavy fog, so they couldn't see the light, and within 5 minutes of turning, they're going 20 knots each, and they run aground at full speed.
Oh, my God.
And 7 of them are wrecked there in the rocks. The other 7, 2 of them have some damage. The other 5 were lucky and had no damage at all. 23 sailors lost. They didn't even know how many ships were gone until the next morning. And so really a black mark in our Navy. But I will say that once these ships hit rocks, there was nothing but bravery from those sailors. So nobody abandoned ship until they were given the orders to. Many commendations for the bravery of some of those sailors and captains there. But they did court-martial, have a board of inquiry, and they had court-martials of all the commanding officers and the navigator of the lead ship. And then in the end, they did find 3 guilty. The squadron leader, the commanding officer, the Delphi, the flagship, because he was also the acting navigator, and then the commanding officer of another ship, because he, under oath, told them that he was listening to those radio navigation signals, and because he didn't act on that information, he was found guilty as well. But this was a quandary for the Navy, because what do? Do you condemn somebody for following orders, or if they didn't follow orders, but they saved their ship, because the 5 ships in the 3rd division didn't do that full 90-degree turn. They did a 45-degree turn and had no damage. So the good thing that came out of this is during the wartime, absolutely follow orders, but during peacetime, the safety of your crew and ship can countermand your direct orders.
Oh, that's a very, very interesting history.
Yeah.
So Now today, we would like to, on behalf of Design Santa Barbara, present you with a piece of the ship that was sunk and hopefully becomes part of your permanent exhibit.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Absolutely. We're honored to have this, and thank you.
You're welcome. It's the best place to be.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is really an unknown story of our history here in Santa Barbara County.
It's quite interesting and actually very, very fascinating what happened there.
So, Michael, I would like to invite you to the top of our building here to see the very best view in all of Santa Barbara.
Oh, I'd be honored. Love to see it.
All right. Glad you will join me.
Greg, what a beautiful place, and it's just a stunning views. And tell us a little bit about it. What is this location? What is it for?
So we are on the top of our building, the 4th floor of the Waterfront Center building, and this is during the daytime a visitor center. It's a collaboration with the City of Santa Barbara, who owns our building, the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum, Channel Islands National Parks, and the Channel Island National Marine Reserve. And so we tell visitors all about this beautiful channel here, and then at night the museum gets to use it for private events. We also, at our annual fundraisers, auction off this piece for the 4th of July and Parade of Lights, so you get the best view of the fireworks in all of Santa Barbara. And it's just, I tried to make it my office, but it's a visitor center.
Didn't work.
Yeah, right. 7 days a week. And I think it's, I love the courthouse tower, but I believe this is the best view in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing us your beautiful museum. It's fantastic. Thank you for knowing so much.
Thank you.
And I understand, you know, it's a beautiful gem and not too many people know about it. How can we help you get more visitors in here? If you could help us and viewers, tell us about your museum. How can they engage more?
Absolutely. So you can go to sbmm.org. That's sbmm.org. On our website, you can find out about our exhibits. We do monthly lectures. They're great. We have membership and private donations. That's how we survive. We're not a government organization. We live and breathe on the generosity of our members and donors. And that supports all the hands-on education programming that we do. I mean, we had camps from the City Parks and Rec today, going out and working with naturalists. We have a Maritime on the Move, which was nominated by the Association of Maritime Museums as one of the most innovative education programs this past year. And so all those things that we do is not possible without the support of our visitors, members, and donors. So sbmm.org, get on our mailing site, right on the front page, the web page there, and come visit us here at the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum.
Yep. Come down here and see beautiful stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very
it.
much. This has been a truly wonderful tour, and there is so much more we did not have time to cover. I encourage you to check out Santa Barbara Maritime Museum yourself and enjoy all its exhibits. Thank you for joining us this week on Design Santa Barbara. See you next time.